Hello, hello, hello. How is everyone? So, we know what it is. I got to see if you can hear me. Hello, Janet. She said, hello, Mrs. J and team. All right. Thank you so much. I don't think that's Ms. Mills. Maybe that's Mr. Sandeep. I'm not sure. But thank you, thank you, thank you. And welcome to week 15. We made it. That's right. Lucky said we made it. Yes, we have one more week to go. Outstanding. But before I say anything else, I want to welcome and thank my amazing team, Mr. Sandeep, Ms. Mills, Miss Haley. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we've got some amazing interns. We've got Vina D. I'm not going to forget this time. We have Star Wars Girl and Miss Beth. And if there's anybody that I may have missed, sometimes Case pops in and I don't see her. So if you are an intern, go ahead and let me know in the chat. And I just want to say hello, hello, hello. Hi, Starry Sunny. Hello, Kaylun Chain. Hello. Let's see if I can recognize anybody else. If Janet Taylor. Hello. Hi, Brenda. Hi, Lucky. Hi, Kelly. All right. And I want to welcome our new member, La Rosa. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hopefully you are here and in attendance. Um, let's see. So let's get going. I know I missed some. Um, let you know what? I keep trying every week. Let Trey, let Trey. I don't know. Spell it phonetically for me, please. And from now on, I'm just going to call you Raina. Okay. But it's Latrina. Could be wrong. All right, everybody, let's go. Letty. Okay. All right. Hello, hello, hello from AMCI. The purpose of this course is what? Not to instruct. We want to hold you accountable. We want to be more accessible to answer your questions. That's why we need you to put those questions in the chat. We want to review what you should already know. And we want to give you tips on how to navigate your course. And finally, we want to point out key guidelines. Now, coders, I'm speaking more fluidly and more rapid than I did when you first met me. So I'm doing that on purpose because I respect your where you are. I respect your development. So with that said, if you are a new coder and this is your first time here, then this is advanced, all right? It's not my job to teach because these coders in the chat, they've done the work. They've done the work. So this is an advanced class, but please stay. All right, the announcements are the same. This is not the MCDC course. And you know we meet at 12 noon Eastern, 11 Central, and 9 Pacific. You know that. So just want to remind people if this is your first time here and you're an advanced student and you're not registered for the course, you can get all of your resources at www.amcicoding.com and you just click on the YouTube course. When you click on that course, go right to the enrollment form, fill it out, and then download your syllabus. Follow the syllabus in order. Speaking of syllabus, everything you need is on there, including the RSVP. Let me go back. Many of you know how to RSVP, but the RSVP links are here. You just click on the week that you want to attend, click on it. It will bring you here to YouTube, and you just complete or push this button, this notify me button. Push it. Also, like it up. The more likes that we get, the more people know about this course. And the more people that know about this course, the more content we will make. That makes sense, right? Yes. All right, click that notification button so you're notified anytime we upload new videos. All right. Also, from your syllabus and on your syllabus, we have the textbooks, and we're primarily going to use your CPT Professional by AMA for today's class, but these are all of your books, and we might be using the MCG. Not might, we will be using your MCG manual. So if you want to know what it looks like, you'll get little glimpses of it. All right. Also, Discord. Discord is not required. Why do you join Discord? Because there are additional study materials in Discord. Also, you have access to AMCI instructors and interns, so more access. You can ask them questions. Also, there are private classes there, like test taking anxiety classes on Monday. Learn how to relax. Yeah, that's real. Also, you have IMTAP, that's interactive medical terminology and anatomy and physiology, as well as Friday Night Live. These are all live classes and instructor led, and it's in Discord. Is there a cost? Yes, a minimum fee of $2.99. So you have to register for the YouTube membership. So whichever membership you select. Now, if you want the gold, it will give you some other resources, and we're going to show you. So to register for Discord and these instructions, these are also on your syllabus. Now, we are down to the wire. This is, we're going to be finished. And what do you do when you finish? Well, when you finish, it's time to exam prep. So, all those little courses and all those people that you see online on TikTok, people telling you, hey, I passed my medical coding exam, I'm going to help you. Um, that's exam prep. So if you want to do that, do it. Now, let me tell you what you need to do. When you complete this course, the 16 weeks, you should, and you're studying for the CPC exam. We just want you to buy the 3 exams. Buy 3 exams, right? And these are AAPC exams, and you can find the link here. Now they're packaged on the left, right over here, like they're packaged as um, bundle ABC, and it's for $79.95 if you're a member, or DEF, that's $79.99. These, it doesn't matter which one you get. If you want both, you get more exams. So ABC are 3 exams. These exams are very similar to the actual CPC exam, very similar. And also, they've embedded in their exam the evaluation and management calculator. So you'll be accustomed to using the calculator. And also, we give you a link to the calculator as well. So you can practice, before you take the exams. So I highly recommend it. I think that's all you need. And you should pass. If you've taken this course, as you should pass these exams. Now, if time is your issue, then I would just keep practicing the practice questions that's in your MCG manual. That's what I would do. All right. Next, if you are taking the CCSP, I recommend buying the CCSP exam prep book by AHIMA. Follow it. Just take the exams and follow the instruction, and that's pretty much what you need. Now, I do recommend that you still practice your the CPC questions from the MCG manual. You got 1,000, so go ahead and do that, and you'll be good. Now, that's if you want to do it on your own, but there are some topics and conversations that you might need clarification on. So I do recommend that you get the AMCI a la carte course. And we do have a CCSP exam prep course for $59.99 a month. It's if you need more instruction. I know I would take it. I would if I wasn't sure, because there are 5 domains that you have to know, and there's some things that you need to know how to do, some calculations and some things like that. So I would definitely, I'll be more explicit next week. I just don't want to kind of, go cut into our instruction time today. All right. So when you want to complete the CCS, honestly, I don't recommend going straight to the CCS, because you have to have mastery of ICD-10-CM and CPT, solid mastery, not like, oh, I'm just learning. And so I would recommend taking the certification, the CCSP. I would recommend taking the CCSP if you're trying to take the CCS. Take the CCSP first, not the CCA, the CCSP first, then study for the CCS. And I recommend this course. It is very, very, it's priced really well, and you're going to get everything in there. You're going to get your PCS, everything, and a boot camp. So you got it all here. That's a steal, definitely. I don't like to sell, but I'm just saying, look, everybody, look at that. So again, if you want to take your CCS, I recommend the CCSP first, then take the CCS because the CCS has 5 domains as well, and those domains are two of the domains are ICD-10-CM and CPT, but those other 3 are continuations of ICD-10-CM and CPT. So you gotta know how to code a DRG. You can't even talk about a DRG until you've mastered ICD-10-CM guidelines. You know what I mean? So it's not, I don't recommend that you go and take the CCS. It can be done though. It can be done. All right, so just so you know, everyone, these instructions that I'm giving you are on your syllabus. If you scroll down, you'll see that I have um, the exam prep instructions for the CCSP, and I've also included a lecture. So you can click on that. Also for the CPC, there's a lecture, and also the CCS, there's a lecture. All right. So hopefully that gives you some idea of what the next steps are. Now, if you say, hey, I'm not confident, I really haven't, I've just kind of been dipping and dabbing in this course, that's okay. That's real. I get it. Then you can just kind of go at your pace, review what you need to review. You've got your syllabus. Do, you know, do your thing. All right. So now let's get into where we are right now. Right now, this is week 15. We had 18 assignments. And I know it's a lot, but you just should have done what you could, right? Just want to remind you about these playbacks. The playbacks are in green. There were a ton of them for more than usual. We usually have 2, but there are more than usual. So definitely watch because they could be like further explanations of certain coding principles or guidelines or just anything with a nuance. So want to remind you that the playback for this class has the green and the purple, and then the playback from the live class, this is the brownish auburn or whatever color this is, right? But everything in your playlist should be in the order that it's supposed to be. If it's not, just follow your syllabus. In fact, follow your syllabus. Your syllabus has all of the content. The playbacks, playback list is just videos, right? All right. Here we go. Now, if you have a gold online course membership, you do have a learning management system. All of your course work is in the learning management system. This is not the AMCI MCDC course, and this is not the AMCI MCDC content. Some of the content might be in there, but overwhelming majority is not. It is majority primarily the YouTube course just managed for you with some little gifts. We did give you quizzes, some little quizzes. All right. So there aren't quizzes on your syllabus, but um, that we are able to do it, so we did it. All right. Okay, so now it's time to talk. Let's talk about these gems for week 15. Well, what are the gems? Well, not really much. Just that you need to be familiar with general CPT coding guidelines, those the green pages that sit in front of Path and Lab, sit in front of medicine. Yes, Path and Lab and medicine are not surgery, so surgery guidelines do not apply. I'm going to say it again. Path and Lab are not surgery, so surgery guidelines do not apply, and they have their own guidelines, and I'll point them out again. All right, so always apply general guidelines unless a specific parenthetical guideline supersedes the general guideline. So unless a specific or parenthetical guideline. Also, you should be familiar with these guidelines, Path and Lab and medicine. I didn't say you need to know them, but you should be familiar. Now, I want to test your knowledge. I want to know what you already know about Path and Lab, and Medicine Guidelines. And we're talking about CPT guidelines. Oh, you know what? I do want to remind you to make sure that you chun your manual as you go or chun it after. Either or. I just recommend that you do and join the chun group on Facebook. The links are on your syllabus. And yes, I'm going to read the copyright. CPT is copyright of 2026 AMA, all rights reserved. Keyword concept, FTR, Chun, AMCI Feb 7, AMCI ICD-10 CM Flip Tap, and MCG are trademarks of AMCI. The credentials CPC, CRC, COC, CPMA, CPB, CPPM, CPCO are owned by AAPC, and AMCI does not own the rights to these credentials. This credential CCA, CCS, CCSP, RHIA, RHIT are owned by AHIMA. And again, AMCI does not own the rights to these credentials. Now, I want to know. I want to review what you already know. Okay? All right, so the first true and false question, this is about let's tune into medicine section. I'm not going in any particular order. In fact, I'm going out of order today. So the medicine section. When a physician performs both the hemodialysis procedure and the evaluation and management service on the same day, the E&M service may always be reported separately. True or false? And if you don't know it, just take a stab at it. Yeah, this could be something that most people don't know, right? So let's just go ahead and move on. All right, somebody answered. That's what I'm talking about. All right, all right. The answer is false, false. And the reality is that there are hemodialysis services. So you're going to need to pay attention to those services, and they often do bundle the evaluation and management. And you know what? I know we keep talking about evaluation and management. Evaluation and management, in a nutshell, is a doctor visit. All right. It's a doctor visit. So essentially, this question is asking when the patient is receiving, when the physician performs hemodialysis services and also is, visited by, or he visits the patient or she visits the patient on the same day, the evaluation, the visit is reported separately, and that is false. And another thing, test taking technique, whenever you see the word always, I'm going to say often it's nothing is always. Often, nothing is always. And when you see always, then you should probably lean towards the answer is false. Not always, but very, very often. All right. So the dialysis, in medicine section, there are CPT guidelines for dialysis services. And when they're reporting those services, the doctor is um, carrying out pretty much paperwork on a monthly basis, right? So it's a month long or however days long the service is rendered. And that's all I'm going to say. I don't want to say too much because I don't intend to teach, but the answer is false. And if you said false, outstanding. All right, coders, what do you know about vaccines? Now we're going to turn our attention to vaccines, right? True or false? When a vaccine is administered, the vaccine product code and the administrative code or administration code must both be reported when provided by the physician's office. True or false? Hmm. All right, I see you, Letty. Okay. These answers are coming in quicker. Yeah. And also, too, we really didn't do a thorough enough job on the medicine section, um, like hemodialysis. We didn't really touch all those, but I got something for you, coders. I do. I'm going to show you momentarily. All right, so all of you are coming through. Okay, Shantae, Brenda, Yvonne. Okay, Prima, Mima, or Mima. All right, everybody said true. Outstanding. Absolutely. You need two codes. You need the product and you also need the administrative code, how they inject it. All right, true or false? When a vaccine is administered, the age 18 and under and whether or not counseling was provided by the physician will impact the code selection. True or false? What say you? Okay, those answers are flying through. Outstanding. Okay, so I see Janet, Melissa. Okay, everybody. I think all of you said the same. Let's see. And it is true. It's kind of self-explanatory. When the patient is age 18 and under and whether or not they had counseling, it will impact the code selection. Absolutely. Good job. All right. Now we're going to just take a little deeper dive into the medicine section. And as you can see, we can't possibly do any justice to all of the topics, right? So as you just if you just scroll down, just make yourself aware of the guidelines. You got specific guidelines for the medicine section that apply throughout the entire medicine section. And these guidelines are also green paged guidelines. We're going to take a look at them as well. But if you look at all of the subjects, there is no singular um, section or subject. You're talking about dialysis here, gastroenterology, ophthalmology. You're talking about cardiovascular, pulmonary, allergy, neurology. So these services kind of go in concert sometimes with the surgery section, but these are not necessarily surgical, but they are procedures. So not all procedures are that invasive. So these are non-invasive procedures. I think that's the best way to say it. So today we're going to just talk about one subject, one that I think is probably the subject that most people kind of have difficulty with, but we're going to talk about immunizations and vaccine. But right now, I just want to show you that the green pages, this is where the guidelines live. These are the specific, no, excuse me, these are the general guidelines for the medicine section. They are applicable to all of the services and procedures in the medicine section. Now that I made that clear, and I think you all got it. You got it. We got a question. We got a question. And look at this. This is your assignment here. Answer just using the guidelines. Answer this question just using the guidelines. So if you have the MCG or you turning to the medicine section where these codes live, answer this just using the guidelines. I want you to try, okay? Of the following answers, Which best describes the encounter? A, 90700, 90707, 90686, 90471, 90472 times 2. B, 90696, 90707, 90686, 90460, 90461 times 6. C, 90696, 90707, 90686, 90460 times 3, 90461 times 6. And D, 90696, 90707, 90686, 90471 times 3. A 4-year-old established patient presents to the the pediatrician's office for routine immunizations. The physician personally counsels the patient regarding all vaccines administered. The patient receives the following vaccines: the DTaP or DTaP IVP. This is a combination vaccine with 4 components, and this was administered intramuscularly. The MMR vaccine, this MMR has 3 components, and this was administered subcutaneously. And also they gave the patient an influenza vaccine, and this is quadrant, preservative-free, administered intramuscularly. Okay, coders, what say you? Look at that. Meredith said, I got that answer. Boom. Good. And it's really, it's important that you just try. You know what I mean? Just try to answer without looking up the codes and just following the guidelines. And the MCG kind of outlines all of the guidelines in one place. And so does the book. The book does too. So the guidelines are right before the code, and it should be underneath a blue heading, blue bolded heading, or your book should be chunned, right? All right. I'm going to give you some moments. Go ahead, take your time. Okay, coders, I know this is probably longer and some people probably have to look it up, but I do want you to just kind of look up a little bit, look at the screen, and I want to demonstrate. And I just want to shout out Letty, Janet, Kai, Meredith, just for attempting it. Outstanding, outstanding. All right, so the first thing that you need to know, there are some guidelines, but I'm going to go ahead and figure out what is going on. I know the DTaP IPV, these are immunizations. We know the MMR are immunizations. MMR, measles, mumps, and rubella immunization, and the DTaP, DTaP, IPV. Those are diphtheria, tetanus, acellular pertussis, and IPV. Those are inactivated polio virus vaccine. So that means that the virus that they're injecting is not active. All right, so we needed to know what these are, right? I'm going to go grab the immunization guideline because when we abstract or we, are writing down our list, right? We're inventorying. It's going to look a little different because this is no longer surgery. So I'm going to inventory based upon the guidelines. I think that's the best way to do it. And basically, the guidelines say that two codes, a minimum of two codes are required. And it also says um, list the products first. So these should be the products, and these should be the admin codes. And it says when you're 18 years old and under, you're going to use these codes 90460 and 90641. 18 years and older and younger with counseling, you're going to use these two codes. Now, coders, when I took my CPC exam, that is the only thing I remembered. When you're 18 and under, 90460, 90461, and you have to have counseling. Anything else, you're using these codes, this code family. All right? That's the only thing I remembered, and it was valuable on that exam. I was able to eliminate some things. Also, if there's no counseling, use these codes 90471 and 474. I didn't remember them. I just remembered these two. And then each immunization should be coded, each immunization or component should be coded separately. Whenever you're coding using 90460, 90461, these use the component. Each component is coded separately. All others, you code the vaccine separately. I remembered that too, because this was the little most complex. So you got to know the number of components when you're using 90460, 90461. All right. So the product code other than the COVID-19, admin codes other than COVID-19, E&M services should be coded separately. Use modifier 25. And a coding tip, there is no counseling. When there's no counseling, use 90471. All right, so based on these guidelines that were taken from the MCG manual, this is clipped from the MCG manual, I'm going to document the age of the patient, 4, that the patient had immunizations, that counseling took place, and I documented the immunizations as well as the influenza vaccine, which is not an immunization. But my situation, it says when you have no counseling, use that. We had counseling, right? And because no counseling uses 90471, I can eliminate some answers. So I'm eliminating A because it's coding for no counseling, right? 9471, 90472. I'm also going to eliminate D because it too is coding for no counseling. We had counseling. Now, I said something before. When you are using 90460 and 61, you have to code each component, right? And if you code for these components, we have a total of 7 components. And this is how I'm going to get my answer. I'm going to look at B and C and see which one is coding for 7 components. And I can see right away that B is coding for 7 components. 90460 is 1 component. 90461 times 6 is 6 components. 6 plus 1 is 7. And C is coding for 9 components. So I'm going to eliminate C, and B is your answer. And you know what? If you learn how to use 90460 and 61, Not only it's going to increase your time. So let's say the answer was 90471. You would have eliminated 2 because you knew the guideline for 90460 and 61. You could have eliminated and ruled them out if the guideline didn't apply. So the gem is, why does it say D? It's B. Mr. Sandeep, if you have this, can you please correct it? Because I can't, no, I can do it. I can do it, but it won't correct in real time. So the answer is B. And the gem is, when you're 18 and under with counseling, you're going to count those components and use 90460 and 90461. All right, you all are quiet. Type in the chat. Let me know how you feel. Was it too advanced, this instruction? Be honest. And no, we won't judge. We won't, because I wasn't sure. All right, someone said they just joined. Welcome, welcome. All right, so somebody said, yeah, it may have been a little too advanced. All right, so I got something for you. So if we look at the codes, right, make sure, I'm just saying this 90460 and 61, just understand that. Put your eyes on the language and just know 90460 is for 18 years of age and younger with counseling, and this code is for your first component. Only one, right? And then the remainder will be coded with your add-on code. And if you look at 90471, this is used for your vaccines. So this is coding for all of the components of the vaccine, and this is coding for one. Now, if you didn't do the video where we're teaching you how to count the components, then definitely go watch that, right? Okay, let me go back. I want to go back. And I also want to point out this. Right here, this 9460 times 3, that right off bat is incorrect because you can't put extra units on that. This is code is for your very first component. You can only have one unit of 90460, only one. So for them to put 3 units on there, that was wrong. I would have eliminated all of them. Been to the next question. All right. So you too will learn how to do that as well. So my advice, put your eyes on these codes, make friends with them, and also Chun. Yeah, Chun. Now, for those of you that said, hey, yeah, AMCI, you probably could have done a better job explaining a lot of the different sections in the medicine section. Well, we did. We gave you this YouTube video library for specific procedural guidelines. Just click there. And also you have to be a bronze member to see them all. Now you can see some, but you can see them all if you are YouTube minimum bronze member. So from your syllabus, it looks like this. These are all filled in with the exception of anesthesia. I don't think we're going to do that. We don't need to. You just click on medicine and you can see all of the subjects. There are like 30 something. You know what I mean? So if you want to learn about end-stage renal disease services that I've spoken about in the true and false exercise, just click on it. And there's more. And you want to learn about immunizations, click on that. There's more. But in our main lecture, we do talk about the components. All right. So hopefully that helps. So someone had a question. They said, so 90460 can only be coded once. Yes. Yes. And 90461 is for each additional. Absolutely. Absolutely. Good job. All right, so someone said they're working and listening. I'm sorry, cousin. Yeah, you might have to listen again, and we do have a playback, okay? So I do apologize. Now we're moving along. Oh, unsee that. I'm sorry. We're in the Path and Lab section. I do apologize. All right, true or false? If multiple specimens from different anatomical sites are submitted and examined separately, each specimen may be coded separately. Now we're talking about surgery, surgical pathology, right? So when they have a surgical procedure, any physician has a surgical procedure, they take the tissue or specimen and send it off to pathology. So if you have multiple specimens from different anatomical sites, each specimen may be coded separately. True or false? All right. So did you all see the answer? You all must not have seen the answer. All right. So, yeah, I did show the answer. Somebody said they didn't read it. Okay. So the answer is true. It is. So when you have multiple surgical specimens from different anatomical sites, definitely code them separately. All right, true or false? When a physician performs a clinical diagnostic laboratory test in their office and bills it, modifier 26 should be appended to report the professional component. True or false? True or false? What say you? And if you don't agree with that modifier, put in the chat which modifier you think it should be. All right. So it's false. Yeah, we don't use modifier 26 for laboratory tests in the office, and typically it's modifier 90. And if it's a repeat test, it would be 91. So This modifier 26 is used to append for professional services as a part of a global package, global code. So if a professional is reading a report or rendering a special report, then you would append modifier 26, and it's often common in X-ray or radiology. But it can be appended. It could be used in the pathology section, but not for this circumstance. No. Okay. All right, true or false? If all individual components of a CPT lab panel are performed, the coder may report each test separately instead of reporting the panel code. Now we're talking about panels. Panel is a series of tests, all combined and lumped into one code. I wouldn't call it a series of tests. It's a not a series, because a series means they all run into some kind of pattern, but it is several tests that make up one code. That's what it is. All right, so those answers are coming through, and I do need to pick up the pace, and the answer is false. So if all of the individual components of a CPT lab panel are performed, the coder may report each test separately instead of reporting the panel. Absolutely not. You must use that panel if all of the tests are performed in the panel, right? Right. So the answer is false, and hopefully you learned something. Now we're going to move on and we're going to talk about path and lab. And before we go any further, definitely make friends with your pathology section and all of the subjects. And if you have, you were kind of prepared for that true and false section. But today we are only going to talk about panels from the path and lab section. And the most important things that I want to point out: number one, make sure you chun your panels section. That's 80047 through 80076, right? So it's important that you understand the number of tests in each panel. So this calcium total panel has 8 tests, and this is calcium total. And don't confuse it with the calcium ionized, right? So it's just important that you go ahead and you um, document the number of tests within each panel, because this will give you an advantage when you're taking your medical coding exams. Definitely. And the asterisk, that means it includes another panel. So the general health panel includes it says it right here, uh, the comprehensive metabolic panel. So the comprehensive metabolic panel is in the general health panel. So you wouldn't be coding them both at the same time. All right, now let's go ahead and try a scenario. Yeah. Of the following answers, how many CPT lab tests are being reported? A, is it 3, B, 10, C, 14, or D, 18? And here is the question. A physician orders the following laboratory tests: a basic metabolic panel, a hepatic function panel, and a lipid panel. So you'll need to turn to your section, the um, panels section in the Path and Lab, and it begins with 80047, and look for the basic metabolic panel, count them, look for your hepatic function, count that, those number of tests, and then count the number of tests within the lipid panel and add them up to get your answer. All right, I'm going to give you a moment. Okay, so hopefully you had enough time, and a lot of people said D. Someone said A. Let's take a look. All right. All right, so here is the actual sheet, and if we look at the basic metabolic panel, it's up here. There are 8 tests. The hepatic function panel, where's hepatic? It's over here. Right here. They have 7 tests, and the lipid, let's go back. And the lipid panel has 3. All right, I didn't check. The question didn't ask if any of the tests overlapped. But if they did, that would be a different story. But if you add 7, 3, and 8, that's 18, right? So if you said 18, the answer is D. Good job. Good job. So I think I went a little too fast. So 7 for the hepatic, 3 for the lipid, and 8 for the basic metabolic. That's 18. All right, we got another question. This one isn't as simple, so let's go. How would you code this encounter? Would you code it? Well, I'm going to read the question because I think it will make more sense. A physician orders a comprehensive metabolic panel, a basic metabolic panel, and a lipid panel. How would you code it? Would you code it with panel 80053, 80048, 80061? Would you code it 80053, 80061? Or would you code it C, 80053, or D, 82040, 82247, 82310, 82374, 82435, 82947, 84075, 84132, 84155, 84295, 84460, 84450, 84520, and 8006-1. I love it. You are just answering. That is what I'm talking about. Yes. And when you get a command of those guidelines, you'll be able to um, eliminate wrong answers. Yeah. When you get a command of guidelines. Okay, so let's have a conversation. All right, we know we can't code panels that have overlapping tests. We know we can only code the highest one. So if 2 panels have the same test, same exact test, code the higher one, right? Yeah. And also, if there's a panel, we're not going to code the test individually. And it looks like we might have been coding some individual tests at D, right? I know we have a CPM, I know we have a BPM, and I know we have a lipid panel, right? All right, so here are the guidelines. And this is from the MCG. Do not code tests separately when part of a panel. Yeah, all tests must be performed to report a panel. Now, the only time you code them separate if they're not a part of a panel, right? If 2 panels overlap, report the larger one, then code any remaining test separately. And again, don't report 2 or more panels if they include the same test, and don't split your panels. Don't do that. All right? So do not code tests separately when part of a panel is really important. So this basic metabolic panel is here. This basic metabolic panel is inside the comprehensive. Every single test is in the comprehensive. See? 82310, 82374, 823, 82435, 82565, 82947, 84132, 84295, 84520 there. And it's really important that you match it up like that. Don't just guess. Make sure all of the elements. But now you know, coders, now you know a comprehensive metabolic, a basic metabolic panel is included in a comprehensive, so we're not going to code it. So it looks like we're only going to code the comprehensive metabolic panel and the lipid panel, right? Just saying. So we're going to get rid of only coding the comprehensive because we need to code for the lipid. And we're going to get rid of D because it's coding for everything. It's coding for a lot of the test and the lipid. So B is coding for both the comprehensive metabolic panel and the lipid. All right, somebody said they got it. That's right, cousin. That's right, Kai. All right, everybody. So the answer is B. And somebody said they had an aha moment, but I'm going to tell you, when you see the video that we have on the playlist, you're really going to have some aha moments. So we're down to the wire, and I just want to remind you to make sure that you chun, definitely chun the path and lab panels. And it's not hard. You can just follow our chun. And you know what? If you got anything correct, outstanding. But if you learned something, I saw a bunch of aha moments in the chat. You know what? That's priceless. Yeah. So let's go ahead and let's look at week 16 homework. It's not a lot. We have 8 things to do, but now we're getting into this evaluation and management. You're going to start coding for doctor visits, okay? And if you're in the online course, you'll be coding for, yours is in your LMS. And also, you got a module 17. We gave you a bonus module. Yeah, so that's like just reviewing things from that you should know about doctor visits. Yeah. All right, so just want to make you aware, remind you of this AMCI CPT video catalog. Definitely use it because that's where the individual guidelines are being presented. And it looks like this. Yeah, this is INTEG, but medicine looks like this. Path and lab is structured the same way. Definitely make friends with it. And yes, it is AI. It is AI. However, it's AMCI content in AI. So they're giving you the good stuff. All right. And it's pretty good. It is pretty good. So just want to remind you to attend Friday night guideline class with Mr. Sandeep. He goes more in depth. It's not like me kind of just, giving you advanced instruction. I really want you to start thinking like this. But definitely, you know, go to class on Friday. Go to Monday classes. You'll learn ICD-10-CM with Miss Haley. And definitely do the Mondays, the test taking technique classes in Discord. Definitely. And don't forget Friday too, Friday Night Live and groups. I'm Tap in and Discord. Sorry about that. I need to have some lunch. All right, so I want to tell you all that we do have a survey, and this is the only thing that I ask of you. Only. My team and I, we come here. We just want to know what you think. Is this helpful? Let us know. Let us know. And that's it. We'll see you next week. We'll see you the last of the 16 weeks. And I just want to thank my team, Mr. Sandeep, Ms. Haley, Ms. Mills, Star Wars Girls, Vina D. I'm going to say Lucky. I'm sorry, Lucky, you're not an intern, but thank you too. And Miss Beth, thank you. And thank all of you. Okay, Lucky, Janet T, Kaylee, Treasurer, Meredith, Brenda, Mima, Kaylin. You know what? There's so many of you. Cousin, health messages. Thank you all. All right, so I'm signing out. Melissa, Kai. I just want to say all your names. I really, really do. Alkit, Anito? All right, everybody. Have a wonderful week.
4,000 exam passers and free classes at AMCI. Learn to coach straight from home or on the road at AMCI.